In response to Vine's request on how to change characters without ruining everything, I'm gonna switch out this yellow character today. First, I want to create a new scene. So right now, we're in the pathfinding scene. I'm just gonna duplicate this, Control D. I'm going to make sure that I'm in the scene, double click it, and I'm gonna rename it. I'll call it character change, reload. Okay, so we're now in a new scene. And I'm gonna go into the Unity Asset Store, the web page, and I'm just gonna look for a free character as an example. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna assume that you already have a Unity account. It's free, so you can just get a Unity account and start downloading from the Unity Asset Store. So I'm going to download and import everything. So now we have a new folder called Survival Character. I'm gonna go into the prefabs, and I guess I'll use this prefab. I'm going to drag this into the scene. Okay, I'll make it 0, 0, 0. And we notice that it's not rendering. This is because we're using a different render pipeline. We're using LWRP, the lightweight render pipeline, so we have to change the shaders. I'm gonna look for the shaders or the materials and change them into the lightweight render pipeline shaders materials. Let me see if I can change all of them at once. Okay. With this character, I'm lucky that I was able to change everything at once, but every character is different. You might be using, some artists might be using a custom shader that you just can't do this with. And if you're changing render pipelines, you're probably going to be spending a lot of time making the shaders all over again. But for this character, I'll just leave it as is now. Making shaders look good, it's not exactly the point of this video. I'm just glad that the character is rendering. So now that we have the character, I'm gonna click on it, right click, and unpack everything, because I'm gonna create a new prefab with this. The first thing I want to do is set up the ragdoll parts. So right click and click on this thing, ragdoll, and I'm going to drag in every single part, starting from the hips. I'm just going to match the names. So pelvis is hips, up leg, left up leg is the left hip, left leg is the knee, left foot is the foot. Let me bring this up a little bit. And continue on the right side. So up leg is the hip, right leg, the knee, the foot, okay, so left arm here, I think should go into the left arm. Left forearm is the elbow. Right arm, right forearm, and middle spine, spine 1, and head is head. And now I'm just going to create the ragdoll parts. So now we see them. I think they're okay, except for the forearm. I want to separate the forearm and the hand, so I'm going to go to the left forearm. I'll make the radius smaller. So adjust the numbers according to how they fit into the model. I'm going to also change the position a little bit. Okay, you don't want the parts colliding with each other. Okay, that looks about right. I'm also going to go into the hand and create a sphere collider as well as a rigid body. And just like the forearm, I'm going to adjust the collider and make it fit the character. Okay. Looks about right. I'm also going to copy the character joint, copy component into the left hand. And the difference is going to be the connected body. So drag in the forearm, connected body into the hand. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the right side. So I'm going to go into the left forearm, copy the capsule collider, go into the right arm, the capsule collider, paste the values. Oh, whoops. Forearm, paste the values. Okay, and I'm also going to go into the left hand, copy the sphere collider, and put it into the right hand, paste. And I also want the rigid body. And I'm going to copy the character joint from the right forearm into the right hand. And I'm just going to drag in the forearm into the connected body. Okay. So now we have all the body parts. We should also have the feet, but we don't have any kicking animations right now, so we can do that later. This is good enough. Let me drag this up all the way up here, right next to the Y bot. And I'm gonna duplicate the Y bot, Control D. Again, drag it up here. Get rid of the original. And I'm going to turn this, unpack it completely, because I want to create a new prefab from this. Okay, so unpack everything, and I'm going to rename it Survival Character. And I'm going to drag in the model into the hierarchy. And the local position should be 0, 0, 0. We're lucky that the character matches exactly. If it doesn't match, you would have to mess with the scale, but this character is a perfect match. Get rid of the root motion. And I want to use the same animator as a controller for the new character. I'll drag this up here. Okay, and I also want to drag in the skin here. So we're no longer using the yellow character, we're going to use the survival character now. And I'm going to delete the previous Y bot. Now we need to just click on these buttons to set up the character, but I noticed that the ledge checker has a renderer. Let's get rid of it. Get rid of the renderer in the ledge checker. Okay. And now I want to click on Setup Ragdoll Parts. This is going to add all the ragdoll parts into the list here. And I noticed that the ledge checker is also in the list. This should not be in the list. This is not a body part, but the collider was added after I made this function, so I need to fix this. I'm going to go into character control. I'm going to go down to the part where we're setting up the body parts. Here, set ragdoll parts. I'm going to make sure that the game object doesn't have the ledge checker component. So if the ledge checker is null, this is when we carry on defining our body part. Okay, so this is now the only difference. If I go back and click on the button again, so we no longer have the ledge checker as a body part. Everything here is what we've set up as a ragdoll part. These body parts are going to be used for both ragdoll physics as well as detecting damage or any sort of an attack that involves body parts. So the character is pretty much set up. I'm going to create a folder to save the prefab, RB characters. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it survival character prefab. Actually, let me create a new folder. Call it playable characters, and I'm going to put the ybot and the survival character prefab folders. Okay, so now we have two folders for playable characters, and inside the survival character prefab, I'm going to drag this in. So now that we have a new playable character prefab. This might seem a little complex, but all we did here was switch out the skin mesh into a different character from the yellow player. And I'm going to click play, see if it works. Okay. Looks like the movements are working fine. Oh, we forgot to set up the camera. Because we have a new skin mesh, we have to drag in the target for the camera. It's a new target, so I'm going to drag in spine 1 into both of the cameras. Okay. So now the camera is following the player. I'm pretty sure there's a few things that I have not set up in terms of the abilities. Okay, we don't have the, I think it's a position for the hammer that we don't have for the new character. So I'm gonna put the character into 000 position. I'm also gonna put the bot here, 000, and I'm going to look for the weapon position, the Thor hammer. Control D, duplicate the position. And I'm going to drag that into the right hand of our new player. So here's the right hand. It's not an exact match, but we can do the fine-tuning later. So I'm gonna put it back here. I'm gonna click apply for the new character now that we have the hammer position. The names have to match, so I'm gonna get rid of the end here. And luckily for the left hand, for the jab attack, I think the name is exactly the same as the other character here. We're just lucky. Otherwise we would have to either make the change here, or if I look for the player abilities, we might also have to make the changes here, but right now I think everything is set up perfectly. So if I click play again, okay, everything should be exactly the same, except we have a different character skin. The hammer works fine as well. The position's a little off, but that's not the concern right now. And let me see if the attack works. Okay. Let me play again. All the other moves should also work. Okay. And I think our new character is working fine. I'm going to exit play mode and make sure that there's nothing else to apply for both of the characters. Okay, I'm also gonna go into the ledge checker for the Y-bot blue because I want to get rid of the render for the ledge and make sure that the ledge is not in the list of the body parts. And click apply. Let me also go into the other scene, the previous scene where we had the yellow player. And I want to do the same thing. I want to get rid of the render in the ledge checker. Remove it and apply. Oh shit. I shouldn't have applied the blue bot here, but I'll do it again. Remove the ledge checker as a body part or as a material. Okay. Save. And I just want to make sure that the yellow bot also works here. Again, no problem. And now let me go back to the character change scene. And everything should be fine here as well. Okay. So that's pretty much it for this video. I think I'm going to do another video on replacing the character, because in this video I just had to make a few changes regarding the ledge checker or the character control and the body parts. So in the next video I'm going to repeat the same process with a different character and see how it plays out. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.